Next is some greatness, and the subject is a new Meltzer. About 2 weeks ago, the results of the latest Wrestling Observer Awards came out, and for the first time aware of it ever happening. Dave Meltzer himself basically started them off by saying that the results were a bunch of... Plus, I follow the guy on Twitter. It seems like Meltzer spends most of the day correcting the crazy AEW marks who seem to think the AEW are due to overtake WWE any minute now. Meltzer even said this on Twitter a few days ago. Quote, AEW have never been in a weaker company position than they are now, unquote. I was shocked to hear him say that. But basically, what I'm asking is, do you think the Meltzer has come to understand the mark audience which is created is just clueless? At the end, the guy puts Billy and his Ultimate Warrior mural that he has in his own house. Interesting. Barry Billy's Ultimate Warrior mural. It's kind of a cheap shot. No, I've heard a clip that Dave was like, basically said it was kind of ridiculous that Tony got voted Booker of the Year. But that's like, like I said, that's his listeners. Like I said, you look at Jon Moxley, who got voted the Wrestler of the Year. The guy self-mutilates himself and bleeds literally every single match and every show he's on. And they voted that guy as like the best wrestler ahead of Roman Reigns. And it's like anybody that's been watching wrestling this past couple of years can't possibly think that that Jon Moxley's a better wrestler than Roman Reigns, or what he brings to the company. So I don't know, whatever.
Well, Meltzer says here, and this is from the newsletter, the argument is over who's most valuable. Reigns worked a very limited schedule, and the company did roughly as well with him and not with him. The SmackDown ratings rise was as much tied to Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, who carried it to strong results when Reigns wasn't around, as the weekly angle. Moxley was more valuable because he was twice after injuries to Punk called to lead the company. Had he not been around, the declines would have been greater than they were. Coming off rehab at the start of the year, he and Chris Jericho really carried the company during different periods when so many top names were out with injuries. You take both those out of the picture, and it's AEW that would be hurt far worse.
Or you take Roman Reigns out of the bloodline. You got to be out of your mind to think that taking Moxley off that show compared to taking Roman Reigns off of WWE would be a greater hit. You could put all Moxley's done is bleed, like he just bleeds. He hasn't put on any like epic matches or anything and all that. He goes up there, he cuts promos, and he goes up there and wrestles him and bleeds literally every single match, and quite often gets caught blading and cutting himself. And that's not the Wrestler of the Year. Like you could have gotten who's that kid, the death match guy, that with the glass, the guy that wrestled Jericho that time on
Nick Gage.
Nick Gage. You literally could have taken Nick Gage, stuck him in the same spot and everything, and at the end of the thing, at the end of the year, you said, "Oh, he was the best wrestler." Because all he would do is bleed every single match. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I mean, but who cares though? It's all fake awards, and it's like nobody actually gets anything for the awards, right?
Well, the girl on AEW, Sheeta, got a little plaque, if you remember, a little trophy.
Oh, did she?
Remember that, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah.